connecting, like, because that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's almost like an actor getting into a role, and it's like, okay, you are now diabetic girl, right? And it's like, and everything will go into supporting that. And that's what I want to, the realities of certain things that are symptoms that are taking place in your body are taking place. But I really want to encourage people to open up beyond the labels of what's going on in your body and be open to it being just a symptom. I'm a woman or a man with this symptom, and I'm working towards finding my way through it and learning from it and how I can heal it and how I can embrace it.
Yes, I totally agree. It's like this victimhood mentality. I embrace this and just live it. Yeah, we have to ditch this mentality and start.
And then also the fight, right? Because we're fighting, I'm fighting the battle of cancer, I'm fighting this, I'm fighting that. And I find that it's the same thing, it comes back down to the feelings again. It's like, I don't want that. Instead of embracing what it is and really acknowledging and becoming one with what kind of got you here, and being gentle with yourself and not blaming yourself and knowing it's not your fault, that you're human. And as a human, as we experience things in life, we may respond to it in certain ways, our body may respond to it in certain ways, our emotions may respond to it, that maybe leave us not in the strongest, most superhero optimal state we think we all should be in. It's what makes us human.
And so getting all of the these ailments, these diseases, it isn't punishment.
No.
Because then that just creates another reason for me to be a victim, or for you to be a victim. Like, now I have diabetes, now I have cancer. It's an awareness. It's an opportunity to explore outside of that. And then if we tear down that layer, is it just the cancer? Or you mentioned thyroid. Is it the thyroid? Or is it something deeper?
Totally.
Or more spiritual that needs the nurturing? And not just, I need to rest more, I need to eat better for the thyroid. Is it throat chakra, the way that we communicate? Are we voicing our truth? And exploring that, right? Tearing down that wall of numbness to get to those core issues, those core challenges, ailments that we're feeling within, and is that going to then heal those physical diabetes, thyroid,
and
cancers?
so this is what works in conjunction and alignment. I just said I've never personally been able to say, you know what, I'm going out, I'm taking my mind with me, I'm leaving my body and spirit at home. They all go with you. They're all a part of us. So in what we are doing, what you're saying is balancing out certain things through traditional medicine, through herbs, through supplements, through healing, through energy. It's a joint effort. Everybody needs attending to. Your mind needs attending to, your body needs attending to, your spirit needs attending to. So often we get the mindset or your spirit and you're trying, but we're not doing the things for our body. Or so often we're doing the things for our body, but we're not healing the spirit and the mind. So you kind of can't have one without the other, because they're in unity. And so if mind goes over here, body and spirit are like, hello, we didn't get the memo that we were supposed to go. Nobody's given us the access code to get over here. We're stuck back here, or vice versa. And that's one of the things I'm seeing. So this is where we get these either chronic or repeat illnesses or things that come back on us, because we haven't fully aligned with the healing. We've only healed in some 1/3 of our being. And that's inevitably going to recreate the symptoms again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. So what I would like to do, because I think we've given people a broad awareness of how that all happens, but to share some events or some stories or experiences that you've had either personally or with clients where you've seen successful outcomes with holistic healing. Do you have anything? I'll let you think about it for a second. I know that I do something called a life activation that is designed to awaken the spiritual DNA within the system. I had a gentleman who'd been a coaching client of mine, a corporate client, and mostly focused on how to improve his business. But I was leaving to go to Bali on one of my tours, and I don't know, I just had this feeling that I needed to do this activation on this gentleman. And he trusts me enough, guy 6'2", big guy, trusts me enough that when this little blonde 5'2" says, come into the office and do this thing, he'll do it. So he came in, and I performed the activation. As I was doing it, I felt the side of my face like this twitching. And I was like, okay, you know, when you work in energy, sometimes things happen. I just sort of go with the flow and continue doing it. And at another point in time, I noticed a tear just streaming down one side of it, the same side of his face, at another part of the activation. And so after I sat him down after and to, you know, ground him and discuss the experience, and all of a sudden his face started twitching here the same way that mine was. And then his face started to get very red. And I said, your face is twitching on the left. And he said, that's not possible. I said, what do you mean it's not possible? He said, I had an accident at the age of 4. I was run over by a tractor and I was left paralyzed on the left side of my face. And I haven't had any feeling or movement on the left side of my face. He said, you could take a razor and cut me. If I'm shaving, I can't even feel it. And within a half an hour, the sensations in his face came back. This color came into his face. And he started to feel he could smile and his mouth would actually move. And he was actually feeling on for the first time. He walked outside and the sun was out and he said, I've never felt the sunshine on this side of my face. Now that was 2 years ago and I just saw him this week, and all of that healing has still been retained. So he was 43 years of no sensations, no movement on the left side of his face, and within the course of this treatment, this has happened for him.
That's amazing.
Right? So I'm sure you guys have, you know, so that's a very extreme case, but I'm sure you've seen other instances where through nutritional changes or other holistic modalities that you may offer, that you've seen results. Can you share something?
So for me, it's personal. I went through So when I went through chemotherapy, I was doing self-Reiki, and I had friends who would perform distance Reiki on me. And so when I was done, they did the tests, and I had surgery, and the lump that they had found was they couldn't detect it. And so my doctor had said at the time the chemotherapy was 100% effective, which he said happens only 1% of the time. And I feel like I beat the odds, and it wasn't just the chemotherapy.
Yeah.
I really feel like it was the Reiki that supplemented the healing through that process. So for me, it's a little miraculous to have that. I don't follow statistics that much, and I'm not a statistic. But to me, it was like, that was empowering, saying something is going right. And I'm to get through this, and this is helping.
Definitely. Yeah. Absolutely. How about you, Amira?
Well, I had a client. She was a high school teacher. She was very cheerful, smiley, lovely lady. This is from the outside. This was the pictures they saw. From the inside, actually, she was a very unhappy person. One night, the serenity of the neighborhood was disturbed by sound of an ambulance carrying her to the emergency room. She needed a coronary bypass surgery. And after that, when she came to me, she wanted help in nutrition and diet, something to support her heart and blood vessel and things like that. And we worked on that, and this has helped. But what really made a difference when we dug deeper into why she had this. And this lady was, for the past 15 years of her life, she was nurturing her husband who was suffering from bipolar disorder. And she loved him dearly. He was a good man, but this isolated her from the society, from social life, from any me time, from nurturing herself. And this finally took it on her heart. So when we worked on this, when she actually ditched the victimhood mentality that we were talking about earlier, and she started to add little joys and pleasures in her life, she started to go out and see friends. She didn't feel guilt before she felt guilty when she left him, but she actually improved, and surprisingly his case improved, because now that she fed herself, she was able to nurture him better without this feeling of I have to do this, but from point of love, not from point of
obligation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's great. It really does make a difference when you can actually take care of yourself, the way that you're able to just change the life around you. So we can't we can't physically change other people, but by, you know, it's the old saying that Gandhi so profoundly said, be the change you wish to see in the world. And by bringing that level of health and self-care, you actually are able to demonstrate and emulate that, and people around you will change. I know even with my children, I was doing everything for them. I was, you know, if there's food on the stove, they would eat once, they would eat twice, I would eat, and just enough to make sure that they had what they needed and that they had extra, they had more than they even needed, and I would maybe sometimes not have enough. And I really had to start sort of putting myself at the front of the food line, so to speak, in order to make sure that I was fed in order to continue to feed them. And they learned to change and they learned to be stronger themselves. So sometimes, you know, when we go into these episodes of caregiving, we give too much of ourselves and it doesn't allow that person to kind of do some of that for themselves. And it's an easy way to, you know, to fall into. It's an easy trap to fall into. But I definitely want to ask you to give one piece of advice that you can give to the viewers, something that they can take away that you think is important.
Listen to your body whispers. Connect with your body, connect with your feeling. And when you start to listen, deep inside, our body knows exactly what it needs to heal. We just need to listen, connect, and we will be able to give it what it needs.
Thank you. Lucy?
I would recommend that we go into that place of discomfort and allow ourselves to feel and tear down those walls that we've created and open ourselves up to all of the possibilities of feeling good things and maybe not so good things. But just to tear down that wall allows you to feel what isn't good, but the better part of that is it allows you to feel what's fabulous. So just allow yourself to be uncomfortable.
Thank you. Now, what's up and coming for you, and where can people find you?
Well, I just released my book in April, Body Whispers, and I'm holding a workshop. I'm teaching people how to actually listen to their body whispers. This is an 8-week workshop. It will be in Joshua Creek Heritage Arts Center in Oakville.
Okay.
And they can find all the detail on my website, amiraayad.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lucy?
So you can find us, we're on Facebook, The Craw Code, and our website is thecraw.co. October is Breast Cancer Awareness, and it's also Breast Reconstruction Awareness. So I'll be participating in a conference that's going on, the Life After Breast Cancer Conference in Hamilton at Leuna Station. So I'm participating in that as a member of the committee, and also doing an awareness day in Brampton for breast reconstruction. So very involved in that awareness month and having some promotions for breast cancer graduates in terms of Reiki services, etc.
Fantastic. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank
It
you.
was lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Viewers, your body is yours, and we really encourage you, as my guests have said today as well, please be aware and get in touch with your body. Start learning what your body feels. Start learning what your body is saying. Start listening, as Amira has said, and stay connected to who you are. This will help you to really have the optimal body by feeling what's going on in your emotions, feeling what's going on in your body, and even feeling what's going on in your mind. I encourage you to really take time for yourself, both of you, both the women and the men out there, because you gentlemen too, you work long hours, hard days, providing for families out there. Really take some time for you and support each other out there. Help people take time for themselves. Encourage them to make time for themselves. Teach your children to have some time for themselves and really get connected with their bodies. As always, thank you for joining us. We'll hope to see you out at the Oakville Holistic Wellness Expo on the 21st. We've got some other great things coming up. And we want to remind you to stop waiting and start living 365.